Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go, 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 go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man. Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid. Detroit Koolaid drinkers. What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Eric, where you know what it is, right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast, serving up that delicious Honolulu blue flavored Kool-Aid. Say it 3 times fast with me, everybody.
Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Double-sided cornbread.
Cornbread! Cornbread!
And where Chops in the D gets it wrong is when you say Honolulu Blue, you got to get flavored Kool-Aid in there. That's what makes it a tongue twister, but it all tastes like victory, tastes like Super Bowl, all those things. Chops, you're here. We've got mock drafts, NFL draft, Brad, always open for business, Holmes, Dan freaking Campbell, and so much more to talk about. Buddy, you're there. You said you're ready. You said you're not going to put the people to sleep. What's going on?
Ogre, do we ever put the people to sleep on the hashtag DKC Detroit Koolaid Cast? Never, my brother. Let's go. We got draft. We got pressers. Man, we got Maki. We got some. Maybe we'll get a little hashtag choppy Maki today. Who knows? Let's get some action for the people.
I hope we get a little something, because, I mean, every time I talk to you, buddy, you're, like, traveling the world, you coach 18,000 hockey teams, yet you make fun of me for having 18,000 fantasy teams. I mean, you got family, personal, kids, and then you still think you can outdo me when it comes to football talk, podcasting. You've been sleeping on the choppy mocks, but I'm sure you're ready to rip the Okri mock that dropped today on the Twitterverse. I forgot to do it on Friday, so I gave people a double dip, double mock, double-sided cornbread, and I'm sure you have takes, so we'll get into that and talk a little broad strokes about the press conferences, the league meetings. I may or may not do an Okri solo Detroit Kool-Aid packet, Those drop Mondays. They drop Fridays. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's at Chops and the D. Sometimes it's both of us. Sometimes it's a guest. You never know. But Chops, we can't mess around and talk about all that. We got stuff to talk about, things to get into. You ready to do this?
We don't have time to mess around, buddy. Like you say to the people, let's go.
Chops, you know what that music means. We got draft talk to get into, buddy. You saw the Oakery mock come out. You saw both of them. Let's get your thoughts. Let's do this.
Oh, well, which one should we start with? Should we start with the one where once you give me, let's do this. I got takes. I got opinions. Well, let's get the rundown here. Let's go through it pick by pick. You tell me who you took, and I'll tell you why it's either boo the boola or a hashtag choppy likey.
All right, we're going to bring the music down a bit, but we're going to leave it on a little bit because the Oakery mock is worth the music. There's no doubt about it. We may get all types of copyrights. We don't even know. We don't care at this point. Chops, with the first selection at pick 28 in the Oakery mock, I select Nick Scorton, Edge from Texas A&M, Big Nasty Freak. I came back with, just like I mentioned, a double dip. This was some Michigan Wolverines. I double dipped into Ann Arbor with Josiah Stewart. So I got myself 2 edges. Then I got a little kooky in the 3rd round with Harold Fannin Jr., one of my favorite tight end prospects. PFF didn't like that pick so much. Then I go wide receiver with one of the top guys going into this season, yet he was hurt. He was on the Oakery Fantasy College team that made it to the championship, but he let me down, and that's Torrey Horton Jr. I think you mentioned him in a previous pod. Then I get one of my favorite picks, which will never happen in real life, at 196, and that's quarterback Tyler Shook. He's probably going to be a first or second rounder, yet he's there every time in round 7 in the PFF mock simulator. Come on, let's get it together, Grouch. Then I went ahead and took me a safety in round 7 because there's not much left with R.J. Mickens from Clemson. And then I got a big nasty beast, which I love, Clay Webb out of Jackson State, big interior guard, top rated, like coming out of high school, like wrestler aficionado. Like, give me a nasty beast to put in the mix there with my final selection. What do you think?
Oh man, so you gave me the full rundown. You weren't going to let me rapid fire and respond here. So, all right, I gotta loop back here. All right, pick 28, love it. That's a hashtag choppy likey. I think that's a grade A- on the PFF indicator. You can't go wrong with Nick Scorton at pick 28. I can't see any way where he's actually going to be there, but listen, I would take it. Then, I like your strategy here, Oakery. You recognize a need and you double dip with a little Josiah Stewart out of Michigan. Love it. He is there in almost every mock that I take at pick 60. And if I didn't grab an edge and with the first pick, I'm running up to the podium and giving me some more Michigan damage doer on the other side to line up with Hutch. Pick 102. I know you like this tight end. I know we've had lots of conversations, even though you deny them happening, about lining up 2 nasty tight ends who can just spread the field and open it up for, Amon Ra and hashtag JMO Fast. But I like this pick here of Harold Fannin at pick 102. And then you go and take my boy, Torrey Horton, wide receiver, Colorado State. I love this wide receiver. Coming out of college, like you said, a little bit of injury, but I talked a lot about him on a previous pick. Hashtag choppy likey. Oakery, on this at this point, you're 3 out of 4 on the choppy meter. Then you go and do a little bit of what? Tyler, this quarterback from Louisville. I always say his name wrong, so I'm not going to say it. Look, I don't think we need a quarterback, but he shouldn't be there anyway. But again, like you told the people, if he's there, I'm going to take him. So picks. Next pick, safety, this R.J. McKinns out of Clemson. I'd be lying to you if I knew who the heck he was. And you tried to salvage your pick there by grabbing Clay Webb out of Jacksonville State. You forgot the Ville there when you said it before. But hey, addressing the guard position, which is a position need. I don't know if I'm going to wait till round 7 to do it, but I like how you rounded it out there. This is an overall hashtag choppy likey.
Woo! Woo!
Hashtag choppy liking.
I'm shocked by the praise because part of me didn't like this, but if you're going to sleep on Edge, I wouldn't mind getting 2 of them. No, I haven't come around to the choppy double tights, but like my point is, you can't just have Sammy Biscuits and a bunch of bowling alley candidates, hard workers behind him. You got to have somebody with talent.
Dare you speak about Big Brock that way?
Harold Fannin is a 6'5", 240, 30-pound pass catcher that just scores touchdowns and makes plays. You only like Torrey Horton because he reach your qualifications of 6'2" and above and 200-some pounds. Like, if you look at this guy, he's multi-year 1,000-yard player, scores touchdowns, had the down year due to injury. Of course you're going to hate on Tyler Shook because it's competition for your boy, the wobbly spiral man, JG16, the guy that you have a poster on the ceiling of, like. And then, in the 7th round, it's just like you're getting bodies, you're getting, like, special teamers and depth, big nasties, and that's exactly what I did. I got a special team, maybe can help you in a pinch, safety that can do some different things and played at a good school, and then you got the guy, like I said, a guy that I love. So that was the first one. If you scroll through, you guys can find me again at Derek Okrie, DEREK, OKRIE. You scroll through, you see The Rock doing the people's eyebrow and smelling what we're cooking. Then you go to the next Okrie mock, and for that, we're going to hit the other music with the 28th selection, the Detroit Lions select. Chops, I don't see this guy ever being there, but he's been there in multiple mocks, so either the PFF thing's terrible. I mean, I don't know. I guess we just have to ask Charles to see if that's true or not. I mean, what do you think, Chuck?
That's terrible.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's still pretty fun, but it seems to be a little bit off because the Lions selected 28 Malachi Starks, A+, number 9 on their board. I mean, I'm going to move BB. I'm going to move my whole defense around to fit this type of player, even though he's not on the Okrie wish list. 60, again, I go Stewart again. He's a little bit of a different rusher than the Lions normally select. He's, 240, but he's got production, double-digit type sacks, young player. That's what I was looking for. Then I go with Isaiah Bond, who I like his talent, and I think I like his speed, except for they told everybody he was going to break the record, and then he ran like a 4.45. So I don't know if he's like overextending himself. He had a bad day, or maybe he's not that fast. He's not hashtag JMO fast. I mean, we'll see. Then I come back at 130 with the surprise pick on this mock, and people were like, but we already have the multi-dimensional positionist elite weapon, as well as Demo. You know Demo, right? You know him? Yeah. So I went ahead and I took Jaden Blue. I love this player. He did not get used very well at Texas, but every time I watched him, I was like, this guy's silky. Catch, run, explosive. Anytime he had open field, he housed plays. Like, I like him. So that's obviously a big-time luxury, but you get one player hurt, you got nobody behind him with any juice, you're in trouble. So that's why I take that pick. Plus, it's BPA. Tyler Shook again with 196. That sounds familiar. And then, Chops, at the end, I double dip with interior guards. Guys that can play tackle. Guys that can play guard. Maybe you can even get him in the center as a pinch. Joshua Gray played tackle at Oregon State. I read up on him a bit. I like the value there. And then I still got my boy Clay Webb from Jacksonville State, the wrestler, the highly rated pro that can both give more competition as well as maybe weed out some of the vets that either can't play or make too much or whatever it is. Just put these young cats, and again, it's 7th round, so it is what it is. So choppy chop. Those were the Okrie picks on mock number 2.
All right, Okrie, listen, you started out on desire, okay? If Malachi Starks is somehow, some way there at safety at pick 28, you run the card up to the board and you say, we'll figure it out who's playing where, because this dude is a straight up stud. As I agree, a A+ pick if he somehow, some way gets there to the Lions at 28. Because like you said, you've got the versatility to move my boy Brian Branch around to other positions and just let the ball hawk Kirby Joseph and Malachi Starks just go to town in that secondary. I love it. I already gave you my thoughts on Josiah Stewart. Great pick. This is where you lose me on if the mock indicator you were up and up and up, and this is where you just nosedive down on the hashtag choppy scale. Crash and burn. No thank you on Isaiah Bond. I've done a lot of dive on these wide receivers. Not a huge fan. Lots of hype, lots of boola about he's going to be the fastest guy and he's going to be faster than J-Mo and blah, blah, blah. And then he just didn't do it. So I am not on board with Isaiah Bond. Jaden Blue, again, I don't know. I don't think he's going to make it there to pick 130, but I am totally fine with my running back room with Jahmyr Gibbs, with D Money. Don't forget yourself some Zion Vaki, and then you still got Netflix Craig. Come on, Craig. Where the heck are you going to fit Jaden Blue on the depth chart with those four rolling deep? And then I already gave my take on the quarterback. And then I feel like out of desperation, out of OMG, I got no offensive line help, which might be one of my biggest needs for the future here. And you just started grabbing straws on Joshua Gray and Clay Webb. Yeah, you saw a clip of Clay Webb push some people around and he was nasty. And oh yeah, I watched a press conference with Joshua Gray, talked about how he ran the Oregon State offense. Okay, whatever, dude. Like, they're seventh round players, so like you said, you're not going to put too much of a stock in this. But I'm going to have to give this hashtag no likey. You started strong and then you crashed and burned.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Oh,
You want the real thing, brother?
I don't even know what to say, brother.
Brother.
I think that's just Chops not wanting to give me credit. You've been sleeping at the wheel. You're afraid to put out any picks. You do some boola pod about, well, this guy's tall, we should take him. This guy's big. I need another receiver for my quarterback who's not good unless he has elite weapons all over the field. I think that's kind of what's happening here, but it's all good. I mean, I knew you wouldn't. You can't give me all the love in the world. You can't whoop up the mock. Again, these aren't even the Oak Creek Classics. These aren't, I still got 3-4 weeks. These are just threw out in the wind to see what sticks. And most of the Kool-Aid drinkers love it, especially the loyal diehards. And we got some jabrones like you who don't know what you're talking about that want to pick me apart. I get it. It is what it is. It's part of the process.
Hey, lots of time to get you know what? There's only one way to go, Oakley, and it's up for this one, buddy.
Oh man, well those are fun to do. I do still feel like the 7-rounder's hard to get through. I gave the people a couple 3-rounders where they could see some options, combo meals, some players. So we're just loading people up with draft content. We're not going to bore you to death with telling you all their AAU schools and what their 3-cone shuttle was and all this stuff. We're going to just give you random big-time takes, and then we'll see what happens come draft day because Choppy Chop, we went about 15 minutes. We're going to do a possible combo Kool-Aid packet. Last time I checked, we've got Brad always open for business Holmes at a press conference talking all things Lions. We got damn Freaky Campbell. Like, I think there's some things we could just generally hit on before I do the deep dive if I can find some time in my life. You want to talk about that? You got some news and notes? You want to bore the people with stats? What do you want to do?
Oh, man, before we really dive into the whole Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell pressers, I think we got to talk to the people about these NFL rule changes. This was a big, hot topic. I mean, Oakley, I feel like I need the music. In the year 3000! And talk about the NFL finally getting away with the chain gang and actually, I don't know, using technology to measure first downs. Who'd have thunk it? In the year 2000.
I think they should have done some of this in the year 2000, but it's happening now instead of in the year 3000. In the year 3000. Oh my goodness. Classic callback there, Chop Chop. You caught me off guard, or you thought you did, but I still got to the button in time.
I knew you'd be ready. I had faith.
What do you think? I just feel like Pat Mahomes is going to get like an extra 1.5 feet every time he scrambles all around the field. Like, some of these players aren't going to get these random old men spots. That's the thing that always bugged me the most. Like, the zebra would never even be in the screen, and then the ball would get spotted, and he'd just walk up like an extra, 1.5 feet, give him an extra 2 yards sometimes. Just, oh yeah, this is randomly where I'm going to put the ball down. Like, no, not like he could see it, just estimating. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. Then you get two people. One guy sets it, another guy resets it. Then you got the classic, I'm going to get out a piece of paper to see if I can fit it between the nose of the ball and the edge of the chain. And then you got, again, if you're in that, that stadium down south, you get some friendly spots that are going to hose over the Wolverines. So, listen, it's about dang time they finally use some technology and get this thing right. Actually spot the ball where it really is, because, an inch in the third quarter, the argument is, well, what's an extra 0.5 foot? It's the third quarter. It's not crunch time. Dude, every inch counts. It's the NFL, man. Like, get it right. And there's no need to even have the discussion. Just get it right. And hopefully the technology will get them there.
Here's my last favorite take on this, too. We got 80 million commercials and sponsors, but they act like they don't want to slow the game down. So what did they do before? Yeah, it looks good enough. Move the chains. Just like, no more of that. Like, hopefully we'll get these quick yet accurate reviews so we can know when they're moving and when they're not. And worst case, if you got to take your time and take commercial break, you got plenty of time last time I checked. So, like you said, get it right. Let's go.
I mean, you shouldn't even have to have again, if the technology is able to track the ball and literally put the dot where the ball stopped, where forward progression stopped, there should be no resetting. It should just be right. So, again, you're right. The NFL has, enough TV timeouts and commercial breaks, and it's like, it's becoming so slow. Every game is now seemingly forever. So, yeah, let's get it right.
What else? The Lions, we'll just hit on these real quick because nobody necessarily cares. The Lions did do a couple proposals. They wanted 5 yards for pass interference instead of auto first downs, as well as, it doesn't matter if you win your division, if you got a great record, you get a home playoff game, that type of thing. Like, my two quick takes on that is, I'm pretty, I can see why the Lions would want that pass interference, only 5 yards, no first down, because all they do is press and hold people all day. And last time I checked, TA and DJ Reed both led the league in PIs, so I get it. But I do think it's real, because you have these 3rd and 18s and the guy barely touches them and he moves sticks. I don't like that when it happens either, unless it's for our team. So I can see their logic, but I pretty much knew that wasn't going to happen. And then, I think you should get it if you win your division. But yeah, if you have 15, 14 wins, and stop giving home playoff advantages to teams that win 8 games, 10 games maybe. I mean, they won their division because their division sucked, not because they're a top 3 team in their conference.
But Oak Creek, they won their division. That should mean something. You win your division, you're better than 3 other teams. You should probably get to host a playoff game, right? Even if you have an 8-7 record? No, you're exactly right. Winning your division should guarantee you a playoff spot. Other than that, you should be actually ranked by how you finished. 100% agree on that. It's absolutely ludicrous that you can actually have a losing record and host. You can host a team that has 5 more wins than you. It's insanity.
Quick extra take. I don't like reseeding after the first round. Once the seeds are set, it is what it is. But we're on the same page with where you should be seeded. But no, we're not going to play a round of playoffs then resort again. No.
Yeah. No, I agree. And the other thing is, again with the oh my gosh, with the I felt like the Lions were super aggressive, hey, we don't like it to be an automatic first down, and but asking for it to be all the way down to like a 5-yard penalty seemed a bit like it was like, hey, it's a negotiate, like when you're negotiating, right? Like you're gonna ask for like $100K more than what you really think you should get, and then maybe you can settle at like 50. So I feel like they probably would have been okay with like, hey, just make it a 10-yard penalty, and if it's a first down, it's a first down. Right. If not, then it's not. But like asking for 5 and not an automatic first down, I thought was pretty aggressive. So and it got shot down pretty hard. So.
Exactly. We're agreeing a little too much here. I mean, you did rip my mocks on, with no credibility, but some of these things that we're on the same page, we agree. Great take, Okri. I agree. Chops, you're so smart. I mean, I don't know what pod this is right now, to be honest. But Chops, I do know what pod it is. I do know what pod is because we went 20+ minutes here in segment number 1. We try to get the people a 30 to 40 minute. Sometimes it goes 50, sometimes not. We don't know here on the flagship on the Wednesday. But we've been hitting you with those Kool-Aid packets. I mean, Chops usually does anywhere from 5 to 6.5 minutes. I give you like 15 to 18, maybe 20-ish. I'm feeling good. Like, I mean, we've been filling up those packets, those small glasses of Kool-Aid multiple times a week. You're showing up here on the flagship. Like, let's do this. Let's get our great sponsors in, come back and talk about our GM and our head coach. They had stuff to say.
I like it. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man. Drink it in, man.
Kool-Aid drinkers, I'm back. All right, Dan Campbell, we'll get to you in a moment, everybody. Lots of fun draft talk, Chops talking all types of boola, making fun of my mock. We've got us agreeing on things. We've talking about NFL meetings, which we know is all scripted and ridiculousness. This is normally where we thank the millions and millions, but we just don't have time today because I have like 20 bullets, Chops, on Brad, always open for business, Holmes, sit down with the media where he was like out in the middle of a safari, or he had birds cackling and things hanging from, I don't know what was going on there out in the garden where he was having this sit down. But what I'm going to do is try to read my scribble notes in like rapid fire, like old school micro machine style, and then you're going to have to just pick up on like a couple things that you want to talk about, or if you happen to listen, which you probably didn't because you're the busiest man on the planet, we'll get into a couple, and then we'll flip and do the same thing for Dan Freaky Campbell. Sound good?
Hey, it sounds good, man. Listen, I may not have heard the press conference, but you're going to have to keep my attention here so I don't fall asleep, so I can actually have some retorts here. So go micro machine style, rapid fire, whatever you want to call it, and I'll pick and choose my topics here that are going to fit my agenda.
So this is the Brad Holmes press conference, rapid style. If I can read my writing, let's see how this goes. First thing, he talks about there's lots of first-year guys on the staff across the board. First-year free agency, first-time coach, first year this, first year that. Then he goes and talks about how you got to pay your bills before you go on vacation. You got your mortgage, you got the college fund. You can't go on the vacation you want. That's kind of where the team is at because they didn't spend much in free agency. Yet he then followed up multiple times saying he absolutely loves what they did in free agency and didn't think they were going to be able to do that kind of stuff. He talks about you got to have financial discipline is key. He likes his D-line more than most. He even said we're heavy on the D-line. Yet every fan is saying, but you have no edge players. He says, I know the fans say we have no edge players. I like what we have. I think we have too many players, to be honest. I don't know what was going on there. Lots of back and forth. Brad Holmes went on to say there's 4 to 5 elite 4 to 5 elite edge rushers in the National Football League, which I found like to be a low estimate, to be kind of a kooky number, but he was kind of talking down to the DB, which you know who he writes for and the kind of questions he has. Then he asked the DB, how many teams are in the National Football League? And he didn't know what to say because he probably didn't know. And for weird, like Brad Holmes almost seemed like he was a little unsure. Yeah, there's 32 teams in case either you jabrones didn't know. So he said you got 3 to 4 edge rush, 32 teams. You got 2 edge rush per teams. You do the math. I don't know what he was doing there as far as mathematics goes. It was kind of humorous, especially because he's making fun of a certain journalist it's not my favorite. He went on to like say Mahogany had mono. That's the reason he didn't play in training camp, why he was out. I mean, maybe this got reported, maybe I didn't hear it, but what a ridiculousness. Don't you get that in like 8th grade when you had a little too much fun at the dance with, you know, Sarah or Jennifer or Mary or Emily or, you know, whatever other names you could throw out there that maybe Mr. Mahogany was, you know, partaking in. He said the corner market was expensive, Chops. He said it started at $16 million. Last time I checked, all the contracts are going up. Last time I asked you, you said it's all funny money because everybody got more money, so you just spend it. Doesn't matter. He said that he was surprised it was $16 million. He was happy to get DJ Reed at $16 million. DJ Reed is a dog. He can tackle, he can make plays, and they got him at a nice price. I agree on all those, to be honest. He says he wants to keep Kerbo. So do I. But I also think, are you really going to pay Buko mega bucks for Kirby Joseph? I mean, I love the guy, I love his swagger, I love the player, but can we play a ball hawk turnover safety, like the highest paid safety in the game? It sounds like they're going to, but I have some trepidations, even though I love Kirby Joseph with all my heart. He talked about JMO's extension. Are we going to extend him? No, because we don't have to right now, and he still has things to prove. Sounds familiar? Yes, I said that recently. But he did say they're going to pick up the 5th-year option, most likely. He went on to say we have about 7+ first-rounders when you do the math and all the incredible drafting that he's done. He didn't say that. I added that part. And he said it's going to be hard to keep them all. He said the bills come and due. You got to pay all these guys. Are you going to be able to? He said maybe not. I say maybe not. I hope so. He said, I hope so. We'll see what happens. A couple more here. He said he's doing backflips over being able to keep Levi. He said he was doing quadruple moonsaults because he got to keep Big Denim. I mean, I wasn't that happy, but I did like the contract, and we'll see if he can actually play and stay on the football field. That would be nice. $40+ million for an edge player? His response? It is what it is. So much more to get into, but those are the highlights. Chops, did I entertain? Did I do okay? There's so much else. He kind of said a lot without saying a lot. He kind of talked about a lot without saying anything. Kind of what he does, and he seemed really cool in a button down and some slacks. Didn't wear the full suit like a couple years ago, and like I say, I don't know what was going on with the canary in the background or the doves that were flying above. It was very distracting, but I love me some Brad, always over business. Holmes press conferences. There you go.
That was, you know what, I could.
Thank you.
That was a nice. I mean, the actual press conference was what, an hour and 20 minutes. I think you just did a beautiful recap in about 4.5 minutes, almost as fast as that 40 that somebody was going to run. Anyway, nice job. 03. All right, I'll even give it a woo. Hashtag choppy likey. I have some responses. Are you ready for some quick responses? I don't know if I'm going to be able to micro machine it because that was a lot of responses here. You want me to run down the list here? Give you a few here?
Absolutely.
Go back and forth on it?
Let me see what you got.
All right. So I like his philosophy. If you got to pay your own, you know, like I get that. You know, he had the whole no vacation mono in there, and that was kind of nice. Like, pay your own, take care of your business. You know, I think it's kind of funny that he does love the D-line. He seems very, very happy with the existing D-line, which kind of makes me scratch my head when I'm like, everybody's mock has at least one edge in the first 2 picks. Some of them even have 2. But he's got big aspirations for some of these other players, even though it does kind of strike me as funny that the news came out that, you know, Aleem the Dream isn't going to be available for the start of the season. So I can't believe, you know, unless he's using some some trickery here to throw people off, he's going to have to address some D-line situation there. So let's see, what else do we got here? Yes, everyone should know in the NFL there's 32 teams. So that's hilarious that they were fumbling over how many teams there. And you mentioned that, he said Mahogany had mono, but are you sure he didn't say something about Mahogany and Manu? It was Mono, not Manu, not the other O-line prospect that we got there at the that he's got big aspirations for, that Giovanni Manu and Christian Mahogany, not Christian Mahogany had mono.
I like the play on words, but no, I'm definitely sure he said it mono. He had mono. He did not confirm it was from Jennifer, or Emily, or Shaniqua, or Sugar Baby, or whoever he got that from, but he kept him out like months. I mean, there was something going down there. He did mention Manu later, Gio Manu. We've talked about him a couple times on the pod, and said, yeah, they might play him at guard. Maybe they like to see him at tackle. Then they followed up and said, well, what'd you see last year? He said, well, he played a few snaps on practice squad, look squad, whatever they call it. And they said, well, was it good enough? He said, I mean, you can't tell. The guy didn't really do much. So they say they still believe in him. But no, Manu and Manu, or Mono and Man, they're definitely different. But both were talked about. You're correct.
Got it. Okay, cool. I like that. So, yeah, I mean, so what you're saying is Brad Holmes basically said, TBD if you ask me, we'll wait and see, but I hope he plays well. Is that kind of what you're saying there?
You almost, like, every time you clunk up all my gimmick lines, I think you do them on purpose, but also you probably don't listen half the time I talk, which, like, it's probably fair game because I usually doze off when you're speaking, so it's kind of even. But, like, if you're going to do the TBD if you ask me, you got to work on the inflection. It's TBD if you ask me, but we'll see. I hope he plays well. You got to sort of tee it up. You got to hit the words that rhyme, and then you got to have the pause and the very just saying version of, but I hope he plays well. So you got to work on your delivery a little bit. Just like you don't see me just doing woo-wees and choppy like. I mean, there's a reason for it, Only one person can do it. And don't even get me started on your Jahmyr Gibbs that you try to do every once in a while. It's just brutal.
Well, listen, maybe I'm trying to take something that you did and make it a little better. Put a little choppy flavor on it. But anyway.
I mean, everybody knows you already screwed up our running back's name. I mean, it's Demo. It's Demo, right?
Oh, come on. It's Ja and D-Money. You know this. Anyway, let's go. Also, I got to throw in thanks, Captain Obvious, when we want to keep Kerbo. Yeah, of course we want to keep Kerbo. So I'm really happy to say that it's public knowledge that, we're paying basically every player we've drafted over the last 3 years. But yes, we want to keep Kerbo. So, and it's going to cost you buco bucks. So, yeah, he's probably going to be the highest paid safety or one of the highest paid safeties when it comes time to pay him. But you're going to have to do it. So, and the other thing I want to add the Captain Obvious to is guard is in play. Yeah, I hope guard's in play because in case you didn't notice, we got two rookies or guys that are coming into year 2 and another dude that's pretty old and our other guy starter left. So, hopefully, guard is definitely in play early and often in the draft and or free agency once the dust settles. So another one of those whoop-de-doo, Basil. Yes, we need another guard.
I mean, why early in the draft, though, when you can wait till round 7 and pluck guys like I did, the master of the mock draft? I mean, you could just wait all the way to, like, pick 200 something and get a guy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, hopefully, yeah. How's that Colby Sorsdale pick working where you waited till the 5th round from William and Mary, huh?
That was a Brad Holmes. Colby Sorsdale, I didn't know who he was. Brad Holmes' record's a little bit better than mine, I must say. But what about when he took my boy, Christian Mahogany, in round 6? I mean, I took him in round 3. We're both happy at this point, even though some people are putting Christian Mahogany in the Hall of Fame. Like, he's had 5 great seasons of Pro Bowl play, and even Brad Holmes was like, yeah, he was okay in limited snaps. I mean, we don't know what we have yet. And I was like, thank you. Every Lions fan is just penciling him in as the left guard for the next decade.
I don't know, man. I think they got an absolute dog in the 6th round there coming out of BC. We both loved him. We both talked about him a lot. So
I think he's good too, but
he's got a lot of potential, as you like to say.
Yes, exactly. All right, Choppy, we got your retort. Not as halfway as entertaining as my summary. Can we do Dan freaking Campbell's recap? Can we do that, please?
I don't know, man. I feel like I think we need to have a little teaser for a Kool-Aid packet. Maybe we should do the Brad Holmes as a Kool-Aid packet. What do you think, Oker? You're the mastermind. You're the show, the connoisseur of the show timing. How are we looking on time? We can always talk more draft. You want to get into Dan freaking Campbell, or does he just not give a crap and we move on?
And I don't give a crap.
I don't give a crap what you say, Choppy. I'm going with the Dan Campbell Micro Machines entertaining recap right now. All right, Dan Campbell, here we go. MCDC presser. He started out by saying continuity is key. You love to hear it. He said that's all about. That's why he brought in who he brought in. That's why he does what he does. Dan freaking Campbell said that talent plus toughness are equals a Detroit Lions football player. You can't just be tough with no talent. You'll never make it in this league. You can't just be talented and have no grit, have no toughness, have no love for your teammates. That won't work either. I'm with him on both of those. You got to have both talent and toughness to play in the D. He said Detroit Lions offense is not a Ben Johnson offense. It's not about play calling. It's about guys like our offensive line, about Demo, about the multi-dimensional positionless. Wait for it. Elite weapon. Jahmyr Gibbs. It's about hashtag JMOFast. It's about Amon Ra. It's about Sammy Biscuits. I mean, it's oh yeah, and there's your quarterback as well. He said it's about those football players on offense. He said the same on defense, and he just ran down all of our studs and said those are the guys that make our plays. That's why we're good, not because of some coordinator we had that used to be called Ben Genius that's now called Benedict Johnson, or AG who went from ain't good to always great or whatever you deemed him, and now he's just all gone. It's not about those guys, it's about our football players. So he said that. He talked about it's a players-led team now. He doesn't even have to talk, he said. And I was like, Dan Campbell, but you're great at talking. I know you agree, and you say stuff like this, which makes us laugh.
I don't give a crap.
So I think you should talk all the time, but also let your team lead. He said that Jared Goff is growing in this way, Choppy. I know you'll like this. I know you're the hashtag conductor of the hashtag Goff train, whatever you put on Twitter all the time. He said that Jared Goff, the way he grew last year, he started not only bringing them plays, he started saying, okay, if you call this, how about we dial this up? This will work. Showed a lot of growth. He says that's going to continue. We'll see. He did not comment on the wobbly spirals or the interceptions in the playoffs or the lack of foot mobility or any of the other things that he lacks, but he did say that he brought some new plays, so that's good to hear. Dan freaking Campbell loves him some freaking Roy Lopez. I mean, he kept bringing him up. People were forgetting to mention him. He's like, Roy Lopez, right? You forgot him? Did you mention Lopez? He loves this guy, so I'm on board as well. He said that Stroud, that linebacker that we got from the Colts, he said this guy could play defense, he could play special teams, and then right before they went to the next question, he said, hey, he can play some offense too, maybe. So that's news to me. I don't know where he's going to play on offense, but I'm intrigued. He went on to say, we will find out what this team is when they hit the grass. Because, again, I mentioned him before, the DB was like, well, when are you going to know if you had a good offseason? I need to know this moment, because that's what people like him do that write stuff on paper. Dan Campbell looked him dead in the eye and said, we'll know when we freaking get on the grass. Talk to me in September. That was classic. Then he said, they just played bad at the wrong time. He didn't say who played bad. I mean, I have a few examples if you want, a few names, but he said the team overall and in general, they played bad when they need to play their best. We all know that. Yes, it sucked. It still stinks. We hinted on Manu at guard, Manu at tackle. Will Manu play? Did Mahogany have Manu or Mono? He hit on all those things. He said Mahogany could be left guard, could be right, could be a starter, could be a bench player. We'll have to see once they get more time. He talked about our boy Ennis the Menace. He said that Rake, usually they make the biggest jump from year 1 to year 2. He said he's expecting that from this player. They're not down on this player, but he was hurt all year, so they didn't get to see what Rake had, but they still have high hopes. 5-yard holding without an auto first down. Dan Campbell said he watched all the tape. He's got all the analytics. He said that it was obvious that should have been something that's in play. He also made fun of Sean McVay and Raheem Morris, who said that they were out. They were dead no on eliminating tush push. They don't want any more tush push, brotherly shove. They said it's not a football play. Dan Campbell said, if you don't like it, stop it. So he said, go tell those guys I'm all for it. And I want them to know that, since they're all against it. That was humorous and alpha mentality right there. A couple more. He said, Aleem McNeil, a.k.a. Honeybun, a.k.a. Twinkle Toes, a.k.a. is going to be a while. Definitely not going to be there for training camp. Not going to be there for the season. Not going to be there anytime soon. I would expect him mid-year at best, but they said he'll be back when he's ready. He also said this. Get this one, Choppy. I put this in quotes. Davenport will be a hell of a player. All right, moving on. He also said, you might win less games this season, but it doesn't matter, because it's all about sharpening your sword, getting to the playoffs, having your team ready, being healthy, and then doing damage in the playoffs, winning your division, getting the highest seed. But even if you have less wins or a lesser seed, if you're ready to roll, you need to do damage in the playoffs. Dan Campbell, I have a one-word answer to that, my friend, and it's simply this.
All right.
There's my recap, Choppy.
Wow. That was a hell of a recap by you, Sir Oaks-a-Lot. I salute you. I applaud you. That's right. Can we get the
Wow. Shout out Frank Ribble. Where the hell did you go? This guy disappears like randomly, and then he'll show up again for 8 months. I don't know where Ribble is. I hope he's healthy. I hope the heart's still beating, but he gone. He disappeared.
I know we said we weren't doing shout-outs today, but hey, I couldn't resist getting a shout-out to the Frank Ribber there. But it's been too long. So, look, Dan Campbell said a lot of stuff. Some of it was boola. I think some of it was pretty good. Again, he's the master of words. He loves to play the odds. He loves to throw people off. He plays the mind games. Okay, I love, of course, the grit mentality. You got to have it. You got to have talent. You got to be tough to be a Lions player. That's, same old. I did like to hear him talk about Benedict Johnson and how, maybe JG16 was actually calling a lot of those plays that everybody was giving BJ some of the credit for. So now he's gone in Chicago, and he can go hang out with Caleb Williams, and Jared Goff can work with the new staff and continue to handle and control the business with all the elite weapons that we've got around him. It's not just about the play calling. It's about the running backs, the wide receivers, and of course the best offensive line in football. Kind of like it, man.
And your quarterback.
Let's see. What else do we got here? I like his take on Ennis. Big jump in year 2. I'm ready to see it. Hopefully he's healthy. Kind of made me laugh. Aleem the take on Davenport. You skipped over that real quick there. Hell of a player. I think that one probably deserves your tagline, but we'll see how that goes.
I don't have the drop, but you guys know what it is. I mean, he's a little plump, he's a little bit big, he's a little lazy, a little bit injured. You know what it is. Fat.
I gave you the opportunity there to hit the drop. I love me some Roy Lopez love from the head coach MCDC. This dude is in his Texas belt buckle, big old Texan hat. I love to see it. Roy Lopez is ready to ball out. I'm excited for that. He's going to fill in, probably play a lot there with Aleem the Dream out for a while. And then, look, how else can you end it with other than agreeing with Dan freaking Campbell when he says win when it matters, okay? 15 wins in the regular season didn't really equate to much, did it? Yes, we won the division. Whoop-de-doo, Basil! When you lost in the first round. So I like this mentality. You got to bring it. You got to be ready to play. You got to be healthy. Everything, the stars have got to align, and you got to win some playoff games this year in 2025, which I think we're going to do. We're going to win more than a few. We're going to win the Super Bowl. Let's go.
All right.
All right, Dan Campbell. That was how he started his presser too. I almost fell out of my chair laughing. He's just they hit record on the old video and all the press around. He goes, "All right." So, just classic stuff from Dan freaky Campbell. Chops, did you make a point to try to say "whoop-de-doo, Basil" as many times as you could today on the show? Because I think you did 3 or 4 at least.
I was hoping for at least 3. That was the goal. The over/under. There was a. I think it was a FanDuel sports bet. How many times they were going to say "whoop-de-doo" Basil on the Detroit Koolaid Cast? The over/under was set at 3. So if you pick the over, people, you're welcome.
Oh, unbelievable. New gimmick phrase getting in that needs to be hashtagged or somehow brought to the Twitterverse, the X machine. But choppy chop, we went about our normal 40, 45, 50 minutes. I say we get up out of here. We give the people a Kool-Aid packet on a Friday. We get them hit up on a Monday, back here on a Wednesday, either with an Okri solo, a combo meal, a choppy show, a guest. Who knows what they might get. You got anything else for the people before I get us out of here like I always do?
Okri, I hope the people are loving this content that we're putting out, man. You and I, we're putting in the work, prepping for the draft, putting out the content. People, I hope you like it. Help us by sharing the show, listening to the show, all that. And listen, continue to drink in the Kool-Aid. We're going to give you a shot. Maybe we'll give you a double shot. Maybe we'll give you a flagship shot. But either way, enjoy it. And what else can I say other than woo?
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread.
Everybody, that's what we got. The Okri labeled magnets hit the hot presses today. The draft boards are going up. I got about 3 weeks. I can't wait till draft day. It's my favorite sporting event or event in general of the calendar year. But for today, that's what we got. And we'll catch you next time right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. We're out.
Don't give a crap.
All right.
Pack the bag. Start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.